My favorite Leyden moment, other than watching all my kids cross the stage at graduation, would have to be, I had a student a few years back, Carlos Ramirez, and I'll never forget him. I watched him transition from a kid making some tough choices in life and rough choices to going to college and finishing this year, and we still stay in touch, and that means the world to me that I was able to impact at least one kid's life that way, and he impacted mine. So I think my proudest moment is seeing my kids really accomplish their dreams, and he was one of them.
You know, every game was a struggle, I guess. It wasn't something that came easy, you know what I mean? Each one of them was nail-biting, and to kind of see them kind of compete against all these other communities that per se economically, you know, have, you know, a higher standard, you know, and to see them come out ahead, you know, with something like that, it was truly touching.
I did have a student enter a national essay contest where you were supposed to write about your favorite teacher, and it was done without my knowledge, and he obviously did a good job writing the story, and ended up winning an award, and there was a banquet. It got my name submitted into a Teacher of the Year competition, so it was a really humbling and great experience to have a kid recognize me at that level and take the time and effort to do what he did.
During the marching band season, the last game was pretty fun because most of the games the team played, they lost, so it was towards the last game that they won, and it was also one of the games that started raining. So we were I'm in color guard, so we were doing the routines, and the water was pretty freezing cold. But it made like everybody wake up, and adrenaline was pretty high.
This year I was nominated to go to a leadership seminar this summer, and I was picked out of all the sophomores to go. I feel like I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad I'm representing Leyden at this conference.
I had a class 2 years ago that personally I was going through a difficult time in my life. My wife had a miscarriage. The house that we were trying to buy fell through. I had gone for a job that I ended up not getting, and I think the relationship that we have with kids is always bigger than what we teach them every single day. There's always something more to what we're doing, and so I share those things with my students. And so I asked my students that year, for me, if they could do well on the AP test. It would mean a lot to me, and the time that I put in and the interactions with them, and I told them that I would run through a wall for them, and they had to run through a wall for me. And it was a difficult time for me personally, but what I was doing in the classroom and what we were doing collectively, every single kid ended up getting college credit on their exam. And for us, again, it's something bigger than just that year. They were able to take away those scores and bring them to college and get college credit and save their family money in paying for college. So I'll always remember that, because it was something bigger than just what our kids were doing in class. It was about my relationship with them and them setting up their future.
It was a few years ago, and it was during one of the passing periods. I was actually teaching, and the door was open. It was one of the last weeks before finals, and it was hot, and the door was open. It was muggy, and I was really, really going for it, and really, making some great points. And all of a sudden, a chicken walks into the room. I was so involved in doing my usual teacher thing that I didn't even really think about it. I just said, this kid in the front row, hey, Francisco, just put a box over that chicken, will you? There was a box there. And he slapped the box on top of it and put a couple of dictionaries on top of that, and we just all forgot about it. We forgot that there was a chicken in there. And until one of the maintenance guys walks in and says, have you seen a chicken? And it just occurred to me that there was a chicken in the room. And then, it kind of made me think of how incredibly focused you can be on your only little piece of what is happening in this building, that, a chicken walking into the building and, whatever. It was a senior prank, and, but at that particular moment, I was not in the mood, and I just wanted to do my thing, that you can actually forget that there's a chicken.
We have a student support freshman study where we work with students that are not doing well academically, need a little support. So the administrative team is often there helping them. But I think we're so focused on supporting them that they forget who we are. So like they refer to us as the lady over there, and I love that because it really isn't about who we are, it's about what we're doing for them. So they will tell you that they need help from that lady with the dark hair, that speaks Spanish a little bit, and we have to figure out who that is. Sometimes it's an administrator, sometimes it's a support staff. I love that our kids feel so comfortable with any one of us. It's just amazing. One of the kids actually thought I'm a Dr. Tatiana Bunu, and one of the kids thought I was actually a medical doctor. So he was wondering why I was here working with them. So it's just the things that you get from kids, especially when they feel comfortable. It's priceless.
I would say working with a student of ours named Brody Roybal, working with him toward his goal of making the U.S. Olympic sled hockey team. So that's what I would take from my years working at Leyden. They won a gold medal.
My son's senior year, when the football team won conference, it was just kind of a beautiful thing to see, I guess. Kind of how the community kind of came together, right, to kind of support the team and just watch it become successful.
My Leyden story was last Friday. Last Friday there was a varsity basketball game. I stayed for both levels, but the varsity basketball game was pretty awesome. It went into overtime. It came down to Leyden's final shot, and he sank a 3 to go into overtime. And I don't know, in the final seconds within overtime, you could just feel everybody on the edge of their seats. Everybody is just going crazy. Every shot made, everybody was like either up or down, or it just doesn't matter. The Leyden story, it's just, you could feel the Leyden pride within the people in the audience, no matter where you're at.
The most memorable thing that I have so far in Leyden is my first track meet. We got there and we were on the field. All the emotion from everybody, what everyone was feeling. You felt the confidence everybody had, you felt the anxiety everybody had, and it was just a great experience. You're someone who is here for your school. The school is behind your back. You know everyone's there for you, even if you do good, if you do bad, they're going to be there for you no matter what. And that was a great experience for me.
I had an evaluation meeting with the previous principal, and he kept me a little late. So I was late to my own class. I had no sub, and I jumped up and said, I have to go, I can't go on anymore, I have to go to class. And I ran to my classroom, and I walked in the door, and my students had their books open and were reading the story that I had written on the board that we were doing for the day, and they just stopped and looked at me and said, you weren't here and this was on the board, so we started, is that okay? And I was like, yes, please continue. And I just sat down and they kept reading aloud the story on their own, and that to me is like a typical Leyden kid.
When people become school administrators, every time you move into a new administrative job, you tend to move farther away from the classroom and farther away from students. And so I always look for ways to have those connections. And social media has been such a neat experience for me at Leyden. And one of my favorite stories is just walking through the hallway, and a young lady came up to me and she said, are you Dr. Poliak? And I said, yes I am. And she said, you favorited my tweet. And the fact that there was that little connection that brings us back together, that we're all under the umbrella of that hashtag Leyden Pride. We all connect with each other, and I love that about Leyden.
So in my second year as principal in the fall of 2013, we had planned to do what we called the Kindness Blitz. So we had kind of made a habit at that point on every Thursday morning being out front and welcoming people to the building, students and teachers and some of the administrators. And this particular day, we just kind of sent an email to students and said, hey, do whatever you want. But we want to try to be all over the building and just kind of demonstrating kindness, because that's one of the things that we really lean on as one of our pillars here at Leyden. And we had a student show up that day that had worked for, I think, an entire week on creating these kindness fortunes. And she made fortune cookies out of paper and like origami fortune cookies, and then wrote out different kindness quotes on each one of them and wore like a sandwich board where she walked around school all day, and then people just picked off fortune cookies, opened them up, and they had these nice quotes on them. So it was just something to see one of our students kind of go to that length when all we were asking to do is, say hi to someone in the morning, open a door. So I still have the kindness quote on my computer from her that I got that day. It's kind of something that's definitely stuck with me, and I think represents our school.
One of the things that I would say that stick out to me the most would be when I teach my child care practicum students how to construct a lesson plan from start to finish, how to pull out standards, to find out what's important, what the children really need to learn, preschool children, what they really need to learn in order to get into kindergarten. So once we kind of break out what those standards are, then I teach them how to construct an actual lesson plan, and we go through the importance of it. What do we want them to learn? Why do we want them to learn it? And how do we want them to learn it? So as soon as they do their research, construct their lesson, then I love when I get to see them actually apply it and teach it to the preschoolers. And then I see how excited the preschoolers get in the lesson, and then I see how excited my high school students get. And it's just an all-around great experience.
You know, I mean, I'm also a head wrestling coach. I think one of the things that I love about being involved with athletics, in addition to what happens in the classroom, what happens in the hallways, is just that we have an opportunity to build into kids' lives outside of the school day. That's something that's unique that I think that the coaches have the opportunity to tap into kids in a little bit different way.
It was around Christmas, and it was about 3 weeks before Christmas break, and I was at a store and I saw these kids selling candy canes in the store, and I asked them what they were selling them for, because it wasn't like at the store is like the side of the store. I'm like, why can't we just get them inside the store? Like, oh, it's a fundraiser. I was like, oh, sweet. And I'm like, how much do you guys want for a candy cane? They're like, oh, whatever you want to donate, you know. If you donate, like, I think it was more than 50 cents, you got like two or more candy canes. I was like, wow, this is a fantastic idea. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be great if we could do that at Leyden? But I was like, well, who do I talk to, and who's it going to be for? Like, you know, fundraiser, but who do you give the money to? Who do you work with? I can't just show up with a box of candy canes and start selling them. So I talked to a couple teachers, and they told me to go talk to the activities director, who at that time was Mr. Manola. So I went to talk to him, and I never talked to him before, and he didn't know me. I was a sophomore, so not yet big in the school. Wasn't very popular, still not, but I went to talk to him, and I was really surprised because he didn't treat me just like another kid in the hallway. He's like, yeah, sure, sit down, what do you want to do? He's like, can we sell candy canes at school? He's like, yeah, sure, what do you want to sell candy canes for? So I told him I had this idea, and he's like, who do you want to donate the money to? I was like, Leyden. He's like, we're in Leyden. I was like, how about the less fortunate? Do we have such a thing? And he's like, yeah, why don't you donate to Leyden Family Services? I was like, sweet, great idea. He's like, and then he told me that I'd have to organize it. I was like, okay, it can't be that hard, right? It turned out to be a little harder than I expected. You need kids to help you sell them, right? You can't do all of it yourself. But I had a bunch of good friends, and they helped me sell, and it lasted about 2 days. We sold right before Christmas break, and he helped me fit into the schedule because all the other clubs are selling stuff right around Christmas break. And afterwards, we turned in all the candy canes. We were selling them at lunch, walking around. It was pretty successful, I'd say. A lot of kids buying them, because you could get, like we did a similar thing that I saw in the store. We would basically sell them for about $0.25 a piece. But if someone donated more, we'd give them more candy canes, and then once we were starting to run out, we'd give them even more candy canes and accept any donation. And then we subtracted, of course, what we used to buy the candy canes, and we had like nearly $100 in profit. So for like 2 weeks of work and like 3 kids running it, I was incredibly surprised what we were able to achieve, and we were able to send a letter to Leyden Family Services and donate that money.
The thing I'll take with me the most is just how welcoming everyone was my first year. You know, it was my first job, it was my first teaching experience, and the fact that everyone treated me as if, you know, I was already a part of this huge family just made everything so much easier. And not to say that my first year of teaching was a breeze, but you know, they were there for me through the ups and downs, and I kind of just always think about that in the back of my mind. I have this great team of people behind me who's always challenging me, encouraging me, and I can kind of take that to my classroom and say, you know, I had these people that they had my back, and now I'm here, and I'm here for you guys. I have your back.
I'm just amazed, and so is my husband, how much everybody cares here at East Leyden. It's from the lunch ladies to the support staff to all the teachers, how much everybody truly cares about the students and helping them to succeed, wanting them to succeed, and just always being helpful, always being accessible.
It was my freshman year, and we were running for cross country, and I just remember it was a really hot day, and everyone wanted water, but we're obviously on a run, there's nowhere to get water from, and we saw this house that had sprinklers on the lawn,
And I remember being a freshman, I'm like, these girls are gonna think I'm crazy if I run into the sprinkler. And I remember running a little faster, and then I was running with like the first 5 girls, and then I ran into the sprinkler, and then everyone stopped and stared at me, and they're like, what are you doing? And I remember laughing and telling them, well, I'm really hot, and then everyone ran through the sprinklers because they thought it was like the most brilliant idea ever. And I don't know, it made me feel that it didn't matter what grade I was in or what I had done for the team. It was just that they kind of followed me, and that like really inspired me because I did it for myself, and they kind of they followed what I did, and that just made me feel special. But
to me, I love technology. So I'm taking right now a class is engineering class, and I love that class because we made a lot of stuff, and we have 3D printers, and they teach us like how to use them. Right now we're making a hand for a little girl. Her name is Magdalene, and we're making it's called raptor hand because she doesn't have fingers, and by using computer programs and 3D printers, we are making her a hand.
I had one teacher at parent-teacher conferences tell my mom, my goal every single day is to make her smile, to make her laugh, because I know she's serious. I know she takes all her academics very seriously. This is something that because I want her to enjoy her education as well.
We are.
I am.
We are.
We are.
We are.
We are. I am. We are.
We are.